Good morning, buongiorno. So Assemblage Studio is in Las Vegas, Nevada. Um, we have actually been asked this question when somebody's asked us about Las Vegas. So Las Vegas, most of you guys know these images. Las Vegas has been kind of predicted in the media as shown as a place of, the capital of entertainment, the capital party city. And what we believe is it's kind of a city of two worlds, is that there's the entertainment side, the glitz and glamour, and more of what even Learning Las Vegas showed us is that, how important the neon sign is, the automobile, all of those elements we've tried to look at, but for us, it's kind of the other side that we look at. And we're very interested in the desert, the arid climate. So we always kind of look at these contrasting, these juxtapositions of what the strip is and what our natural environment is. So here you can see the lights and the colors of the strip versus the red rock and the sunsets in our desert. The explosions of the volcano in front of the Mirage versus the atomic testing that took place in the 1950s to the north of Las Vegas. We had the honor of having Rem Koolhaas design us the Guggenheim Museum in the Venetian, which shortly closed down. But here is also a land artist, Michael Heisner, that did Double Negative. And again, we look at these influences and how we can use them. Bellagio, again, no concern for water, shows every day, every night. And yet you'll see our main body of water, Lake Mead, which has already dropped 120, 30 to 40 meters over the last 10 years. Most think that the women are showgirls and that they do the entertainment, where we do have a beautiful family structure, schools, grocery stores, and all these other elements. But the city is always about importing. And what we see is Caesar's Palace on my right, again, importing all these different elements, all these different cultures, and very rarely do we look at our own culture. And here are some hieroglyphics of Native Americans that have actually passed through here in Red Rocks and then have depicted these images on the walls. So our goal at the firm is to kind of look to that other side. What is it about our natural environment that we can use and find inspiration from? So we take a look at a lot of the stuff that's in our surrounding context. The textures of our mountains. It's a very, very harsh environment. So even the plants we've looked at, they have these outer shells, these cactus, these barrel cactus. It's all about how to protect yourself from this hot desert sun. And again, the bottom right image, so we're always trying to, how do we embrace and use both sides, the strip and our natural environment? As you guys have known, we have St. Mark's Square in Las Vegas, we have New York, we have Paris, so we have all these different elements that we're always taking these images and bringing in. A couple years ago, we created a project called City Center, where we brought all the star architects around the world. And we still are trying to figure out if it's working. But again, Las Vegas is trying to grow up. It's trying to find a design sense, and hopefully, over the years, it'll keep developing. But this is mostly what our housing looks like. Our firm does a lot of single-family residential, and to be quite honest, Las Vegas, this is what you get when you go through the valley. It is very depressing. The urban design is pretty poorly thought out. There's no walkability. It's all about the car. It's all about driving. And there's nothing unique about it. And again, this is Tuscan style that, again, what did it have to do with our place? Nothing. But we would continually import all these different ideas without really knowing what they do and what they mean to our environment. So Tresarca. This was kind of our first attempt to really start educating what we thought we could educate our city with, and looking at sustainable strategies on what you could do for a single-family house and how we could start to protect passive cooling systems, all these elements to really start educating our clients, our community on ideas. So it was a very minimalist approach, and Tresarca is derived from trace, 3, and arca, which is a Latin for box, safekeeping of a box. So what this project is it's 3 separate boxes with the main second floor, which is all the bedrooms, elevated and then wrapped with a mesh. Here in Europe, you've seen a lot of the double skins. This is something new to the States that it's starting to happen a lot more, but something we implemented on this project. Again, site textures. These are the dry lake beds, 20 miles from the site. The textures of our Red Rock Mountains. And again, we started looking at this patchwork and how these could start to relate and become something that could be fabricated for these panels. So again, the second floor, we wanted to be able to create a passive system. So the mesh screen provides both protection against the harsh heat, but also creates this beautiful shadow pattern inside that we'll see later. And again, that heat all comes up through the mesh. So as the cool air rises, the hot air rises out, and then the light diffracts inside. Just some images of the fabrication of the mesh. The section. So again, what we try to achieve is to elevate those boxes. What we need in the desert is we need shade. So once we elevated that box, we started to create these courtyards underneath it. And with that top image, as you sit there, and it's called big ass fans, that air starts to circulate. And then we have reflecting pools that, again, the water comes through these pools, the air circulates, and we start to bring the temperatures down 15 to 20 degrees without any air conditioning or anything. We also believe you can live in the desert, if done right, all the time. So again, we try to tell our clients, you can be outside 360 days a year. So the bottom, anytime we do basements where we can go subterranean, and again, a lot better cooling, we'll also create these courtyards that extend out, that we can create these microclimates that, again, cool the space. Just some process images, and again, some studies of how we broke the boxes up, how we could pull these apart and create these internal courtyards. Here you can see, as we separated the program, we got these really intricate little courtyards and passage and circulations. We start to use multi-sliders and start to open up the whole house. And again, we can allow all the ventilation to come through. On the right, you can see this is the pool house, and the feature wall is called shoshugiban, a Japanese technique where we burn the wood. And again, even the line work starts to pick up the fractured mesh, so that idea starts to come inside as well. The top left, that is the main floor. So again, organized in a way that we can have number 8, the central courtyard, that all the living flows into those spaces. The second floor is where most of the sleeping rooms and bedrooms are that open up to a roof deck. And then the basement is guest suites and entertainment space that open up to a subterranean courtyard. Here is a look at the reflection pool inside that courtyard. Again, very zen, very relaxing spaces that we tried to achieve. And again, that reflecting pool, as the air circulates over the top of it, we start to cool that courtyard. Here's an example of that sunken courtyard, where again, all the rooms can open up to that courtyard. We create that microclimate where, again, the breezes, a small water feature, everything starts to help cool that space down. This is just a office out of the office, a side private courtyard that, again, looks back to the Las Vegas Strip. Pay a little homage to that. It is on a golf course setting, but our goal was to kind of screen that as much as possible and, again, look back towards the mountain area. Again, you can see how the house opens up and extends. Here's another picture of the courtyard. We use pretty simple materials. It was plaster, blackened steel. The mesh around it was a woven wire mesh that is galvanized to prevent rusting. And again, there's an example of that big-ass fan, which again, very inexpensive to operate, but will circulate a lot of air over that small space. Picture of the inside. Again, opening up the windows. Beautiful furniture. We'll bring the steel elements back inside. The top right is a blackened steel finish. Ball top kitchen. This was a very interesting art piece. Anna Canuel, which is a light sculptor from New York, we approached her and showed her that we had this possibility to do a two-story element around the circular, or around the main staircase. And this is a installation over 16,000 light bulbs. Only about 200 are operable. But as you come up from the main floor, you come up and experience this all the way around it. Very beautiful piece. Here you can see in the master bedroom is just now experiencing the mesh, and that fractured is still, once inside, you actually have a lot of visibility through the mesh. The closer you get to it, it starts to distort. But visually, you can see it, and it starts to pick up that language of the mountains. Once in the basement, this is the wine room. That is a mushroom wood. And again, to soften this space, a lot of woods were used. This is the pool house again, and that was that Shishugibon wall. And again, the lines of the mesh start to pick up that we try to make this cohesive element that starts these details happen indoor and outdoor. More of a detail shot of that. Again, the multi-sliders opening, bringing indoor and outdoor together. This is more of a day shot, though, that you can really start to see the patterns and, again, how that mesh and those shadows play against the form. Very simple, drought-tolerant landscape, all used in the southwestern region. Agaves, ocotillos, regal mist, palo verdes. This is the backyard, pool, and that courtyard and the pool house beyond. Sculpture garden. And that is the perspective of the front of the house. And that is Tresarca. Thank you.